Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome to the start of my F1 2022 mod career mode. This is it. We haven't done one of these mod career modes in a long while. We're doing like Road to Glories and stuff like that sometimes, but we're throwing it back. We've got a regular old mod career mode of the upcoming F1 2022 season. I'll leave a link in the description to this mod. Absolutely insane one made by Jamie on Race Department. We've got all the driver transfers. George Russell in the Mercedes alongside Lewis Hamilton, now back as the Silver Arrows. Oracle, Red Bull Racing, Verstappen and Sergio Perez. We've got that new kind of Golf blue on the McLaren chassis. Lando Norris and Daniel Ricciardo. Of course, we know McLaren's struggling a bit more this season. Aston Martin finally looking really a little bit more like the Aston Martin colours should do, with the lime green Sebastian Vettel, Lance Stroll. BWT, pink and blue Alpine, Fernando Alonso and Esteban Ocon. And of course, for the first two rounds in an all pink livery for the team. Scuderia Ferrari, Leclerc and Carlos Sainz in that darker Rosso Ferrari this year. AlphaTauri, Pierre Gasly and Yuki Tsunoda return. Alfa Romeo, I might add, this car in this mod on the 2021 Alfa Romeo chassis looks absolutely exquisite. So good. Bottas alongside Guan Yu Zhou. That's an exciting partnership, of course, with the resurgence of Alfa Romeo. And then we've got the remaining two. Haas F1. Kevin Magnussen is back on the F1 grid alongside Mick Schumacher. And then, of course, Williams, Latifi and Alexander Albon. But you guys voted in your thousands. 45,000 of you voted in a poll I did earlier this week in a community post. And it was a resounding 81% of you wanted me to drive as Magnussen in the Haas. So K-Mag is back. We are back with a mod career mode here for F1 2022, driving in this, much quicker Haas F1 car. This is going to be odd, you know, because every time, you know, in recent years we've seen a Haas in the F1 game or in real life, it's been so bloody slow. But I'm excited to take the wheel of this Haas and see what we can do, you know, aiming for what you'd hope, as Gunther Steiner has said, and, you know, the technical team around and the team, consistent points. That's going to be the aim for this career mode season. And before the comments come in, of course, as usual with a mod career mode, there are limitations to what we can do. Obviously, all the cars, the liveries are there from 2022, but the car models are from the 2021 game. And then with the calendar, of course, there are limitations with I can't go to Miami, of course, in the game. So we're going to have to miss out that round and such. But we'll try and do our best to get through as best we can, you know, similar to what the season is. In terms of performances as well, they should be relatively similar to real life, with the Haas and Alfa and basically the Ferrari-powered cars looking better. The Mercedes ones, not so much. There may be a few little discrepancies here and there, but of course, take it with a pinch of salt. It is just a mod made by the community from Race Department. Like I said, Jamie, absolutely incredible work, and others as well involved. Link below if you want to go download it for yourself. But here we are then, starting our very first ever flying lap in qualifying for this series, because obviously I'm already doing a My Team career mode series. I've got the manager mod career. Yeah, there's a lot of content here. So for the sake of, you know, keeping this as a kind of a side series vibe, we're doing short qualifying and 25% races, but we're still going to get plenty of action, don't you worry. The tyre wear is still going to be a factor with 25% races scaling that up, and with the cars being so close together, you know, the modding, the performance we've got that I've put into this, it should allow for closer racing, exactly what obviously F1 in real life is trying to do. But in our first flyer then, it was a pretty decent lap time actually. I'm only separated by a few hundredths to Schumacher in P10 then. We're P11, Bottas ahead of us in P9. Russell struggling with his new Mercedes down in P13. So can we try and improve? We've got purple first sector. I think that's just quickest of what I've done. I doubt that's purple overall in this session. You can see actually I've lost some time there. We're only narrowly improved by nearly just under a tenth or 3/4 of a tenth of a second there to get us ahead of Schumacher. And with with that, the session ends, and we're going to roll straight into the starting grid for this first ever F1 2022 Mod Career race. With a 1-2 lockout for Ferrari then. Carlos Sainz, though, is the one on pole position, rewriting history. Leclerc, though, alongside him, very close start. Verstappen, Hamilton, then two old rivals on the second row, followed by Sergio Perez and Valtteri Bottas. Then Guan Yu Zhou, Pierre Gasly, Alonso, and Mick Schumacher round out the top 10. So he didn't actually, even in the end, beat Schumacher. We qualified P11 alongside George Russell. Then came Vettel, Tsunoda, Ocon, and Lance Stroll. You got the two McLarens sharing the second last row of the grid. And then the last grid rounds out with Alexander Albon and Nicholas Latifi. So that is the grid for our very first race here. So Schumacher actually beat us then. So we might actually have our work cut out a little bit. I think in the race trim will be a little bit better, of course, in terms of pace. Like I said, tyre wear is going to be a factor. Even though we've only got 14 laps, we've scaled the tyre wear down. So there will be the powerful undercut that we see in real life. So that's going to be a massive point this season, that if you can do that undercut and warm up the tyres, you're going to gain a lot of time doing that rather than staying out. So that's going to be something to look out for, despite only making one stop in this race. Soft to medium. But with that, we're ready to go. It's been a long while since we've done one of these old school mod season career modes, but here we go to 5 red lights for the 2022 Bahrain Grand Prix. The lights are out and we're on the way. Schumacher with a really slow start. Lot of aggression from Pierre Gasly and Fernando Alonso. The first race, and everyone is going for it straight away into turn 1. Though Carlos Sainz leads Leclerc, we get squeezed out by Fernando Alonso in the pink BWT Alpine. He's up into P9. Schumacher remains in P10, and we actually at the end of it go back down to P11 as well. We can see Verstappen has sent it on Leclerc for P2. The Red Bull maybe in second place, but no, Leclerc comes back at him. Meanwhile, we are going to try and attack our teammate Mick Schumacher round the outside of the next left-hander down the hill using plenty of curb, and we're going to slot in into P10. Nice easy overtake on our teammate, needed because I reckon we'll have better race pace than Schumacher. He may have outqualified us, but I think overall we're going to want to be here in cleaner air, attacking the other cars. I think the Alphas qualified a lot higher than the race pace may suggest. And look, just like in real life, Bottas had a shocking start because he was ahead of Guan Yu Zhou in alongside Gasly on the third row, wasn't it, or the fourth row? And now he's down here in P9. So actually, this so far getting quite a lot of realism here in this first mod race, with Bottas having a shocker down to P8 as we go round the outside of Fernando Alonso. They're struggling to get to grips with his new Alpine in full. I mean, I keep almost calling it a racing point because it really just does look like one. But now P9, and we can try and attack Valtteri Bottas. So straight away, the two teams that have really catapulted themselves up the order are going to have a fight. And like I said, it's going to be nice just to fight Bottas because this Alfa Romeo with the 2022 livery on last year's chassis is so peng. It's actually convinced me that that livery is actually one of the best on the grid IRL, just because of how it looks on the old car. It's just so gorgeous. So yeah, like I said, props to Jamie and everyone who contributed to this mod. Really sick. So now can we try and attack the Flying Finn, who very much has had his wings clipped at the start of this race? On the outside, maybe it's going to be a very ballsy move, but we're driving his K-Mag. We've got to go for those aggressive moves, get the elbows out, as he would as well in real life. And now we're side by side with the Finn. He's going to keep it going around the outside, and Bottas actually stays ahead. We both go a bit too deep, though, so already losing time to Pierre Gasly then ahead. Not ideal, but getting stuck in with a really tough fight straight away. We can't go to the inside. Bottas defends really well, but we break early. Go for this switch. Bottas a little bit iffy on the traction, and we're going to use all the curb on the left-hand side. Little lift off there to make sure we give the Finn the room, but we're up into P8 on the outside, up the hill into Sector 3. But already you can see some closer rate, and you can also just see, if you look further back, every car, we're all very close together. The only reason we've got that gap to Gasly is because of that fighting we did. So, you know, I've done my best to try and modify the performances to allow for really close racing, and as well as getting the pecking order somewhat correct. So obviously, as we go on through this season, we can adjust things as it comes, you know, from real life as well. But for now, it's a 1-2 for Ferrari then. Sainz, though, the man in the lead. Leclerc second, Verstappen in third. Hamilton right now in P4, but he's being attacked by Guan Yu Zhou in the Alfa Romeo. Look at that, the debutant, the new Chinese driver in Formula 1, down the inside of Lewis Hamilton, the 7-time champion, is being attacked by an Alfa Romeo here. This is absolutely amazing. Sergio Perez might get involved, it might even be 3 wide as they go through. Yes, it is Red Bull, the Mercedes, the Alfa Romeo. Perez on the outside though, and he's up into P4. Hamilton still being attacked by Zhou Guan Yu. This is absolutely amazing. The Alpha still keeps it down the inside. We are really getting some close racing here. Maybe the Mercedes struggling with a bit of porpoising. Maybe, as we're now going to try and have a look at Pierre Gasly, who's kind of just been caught napping a little bit, being stuck behind these guys. Big lock-up from us. We try and go around the outside, but we pick up the traction so much quicker than Pierre, and so we're able to get up into P7, use the slipstream a bit and the DRS and a bit of an aggressive movement to the left to right to defend that position, and now we can maybe attack the Alfa Romeo, who I suspect looks like he's shot his tyres a bit trying to attack the Mercedes car. We thought about a dive for a second there on the right hand side, but no. My team have asked me about changing our strategy. They're a bit worried about the tyre wear right now, but at the moment I'm just concerned about overtaking the Chinese driver and then maybe using Hamilton as a bit of a tow, because we are within 1 second. The DRS is activated. We're going to go ahead and make the move on the Alpha right now. It's going to be a bit of a stalemate though in terms of gaining time, because we both got the same Ferrari engine, much improved for this season, but we're going to... we had a little look on the inside. I thought we were maybe going to go for the dive bomb, but instead we'll keep it calm, do a Leclerc and wait for the second bite of the cherry there. Bit of oversteer from both of us, so we actually have to wait all the way to sector 3, and it's the same place where I kind of initially, first of all, didn't want to dive down the inside, but now we're so much closer. Absolutely lick the stamp and send it. Get the elbows out on the exit, but we actually keep it pretty damn clean there. I was kind of half expecting a bit of contact on the front left, to be honest, I'm not going to lie. But we're up into P6, trying to break the toe desperately because it's so powerful with these more draggy, slower cars compared to last year's performances. We're going to continue on for, I would say, 1 more lap because we've got a DRS of Hamilton, so let's just try and keep with him. But I think Zhou Guan Yu might attack us. Yes, we have to go defensive there. Gasly's also lurking about. Hamilton's now keeping up with Perez. Guan Yu Zhou on the inside. We've switched back to him though, left to right, but he's going to block us so well. Some really decent car placement from the debutant driver. But I think at some point, surely we just get him and finally get past him. He's struggling. He's locking up now. He's just holding us up really at this point because Hamilton now is pulling away outside that 1 second gap. So he needs to overtake him ASAP and get it, you know, completely booked in and finished. But he's doing so well just to be so frustrating over placing the car on the racing line. But we actually get some great traction on the outside. That's a very unusual place to make a move. And oh, he's made a huge mistake. Oh, the inexperience is kicked in, and that's such a shame for the Alfa Romeo driver from P7 that was, or 8, way down the order, got it all crossed up, and Bottas, remember, was able to keep around the outside there in a similar fashion, no problem, but he had a mistake, and he goes off there. It's pit stop time, though. We're in. Leclerc and Verstappen are in, but interesting, the race leader, Sainz, he stayed out, and like I said, with this mod, there is that massive undercut potential, so I'm very surprised at that with Carlos Sainz. I'm sorry to Mick Schumacher, we had to double stack, because I was definitely not staying up for another lap, because I could see people were maybe going to be able to jump me, i.e. Pierre Gasly, could have maybe jumped me with an undercut, so we came in, but there's no way, unfortunately, to tell your teammate not to come in, so he had to double stack with me, but anyway, like I said, getting back to this, as Norris gets up into the lead, yet to pit, but where is Leclerc and Verstappen? Sainz is out, and there you go! The massive undercut from 2022 is here, and Leclerc takes the lead, effectively, of the Bahrain Grand Prix. It's still a 1-2 for Ferrari, but Leclerc is now the lead man, as now we're looking to make a move on Hamilton, sell him the dummy, go from right to left, and he's going to be looking at his mirrors. Can we go around the outside? It looks like we actually have some really decent pace here versus the Mercedes car. This was the fight in real life on lap 1. Magnussen on the left, Hamilton on the right. This time we're going to squeeze him, then go back to racing line, brake early, cut in, and it's a textbook switchback. That is literally exactly what you want. And we're up into P5 now. At the moment, we'll be matching Magnussen's real-life race position. It seems the Mercedes car's struggling a little bit more right now in this race virtually than they were in real life. But yeah, let's look at this then. Oh, Carlos Sainz is off. Oh, he's had a howler of a mistake. Yeah, I was going to say it's a 1-2 for Ferrari still, but Sainz will be annoyed he's down to second, but now he's down to third. Verstappen gets up into second place. It's a mistake from the Spaniard under pressure, maybe pushing too hard to catch up to Leclerc. We don't know. I don't know what that was. It seemed like he made a mistake on the curb and it spat him off. So he's down to P3. So it's Leclerc v Verstappen potentially. 2 seconds though. Looks like the Ferrari has it under control as we now look down the order. Schumacher struggling a little bit in the traffic with George Russell and Sebastian Vettel in P11, 12, 13 respectively. Meanwhile, back to our POV then. Lap 11, 4 laps to go including this one. But the tyre wear on these mediums is actually disgustingly bad. And I've just got a little bit worse pace on the mediums versus the softs. And Gasly is through the AlphaTauri pretty damn quick. Of course, Pierre would have been on for a pretty damn good result in real life had it not been for that retirement, that engine fire. So I'm not surprised the AlphaTauri can catch up to us and fight us a little bit. But we're going to continue to press on and pressurise the Frenchman because I want this P5. This would be great. Really awesome to match the real-life result, of course, of K-Mag. And obviously for the career season, just get a load of points and try and get Haas as far up the order as we can. I mean, at the moment, I'm beating both Mercedes cars and a Red Bull. This is really quite great. I mean, I'm expecting maybe Sergio Perez to close up to us eventually because he is in a Red Bull. But for now, the fight is on with the sister junior team, AlphaTauri. Gasly doing well to place the car right now, but we're going to send it on the inside. And this time we are going to make a little bit of contact there as the tyres bang. And that was a very K-Mag-esque sort of dive bomb and elbow out move, I must say. Hamilton now side by side. Is there maybe some damage? I don't know for Pierre Gasly. I'm sorry to him if there is any damage, but we wanted to go for it. Hamilton now pressurising the Frenchman, and the AlphaTauri is in. Okay, that's a bit. I mean, that is very K-Mag, let's be real. No, that was just, simulation damage. Tiny bit of contact, unfortunate for Pierre Gasly, but to be honest, if you think about it, it's accurate because, Gasly didn't score any points in real life. We're getting back to the race at hand. Hamilton struggling, and Perez has got up into P5 now, and now Hamilton is under pressure from his former teammate, Valtteri Bottas in the Alfa Romeo. Bottas has gone down the inside. It's Bottas v Hamilton, but they're both not in the silver arrow cars anymore, but this is amazing. Bottas keeps his footing. He's still going round the outside, down the hill, into the hairpin. Horrendous camera angle, thank you F1 directors. But Bottas is still at it, wheel to wheel, with Lewis Hamilton, and he's committed to going round the outside through that bottom left-hander. It's so easy to lock up. It's the same place where myself and him for, and he's overtaken him. He's got him. Bottas up into P6. Hamilton down to P7. I don't know about you, but I'm liking this mod so far. It's very racy. There's obviously the Mercedes maybe need a little bit of bumping, but this is great racing. And what a story that is already in the first race. Bottas absolutely doing Hamilton round the outside in the Alpha. Meanwhile, Perez absolutely does me on the DRS straight. I try to squeeze him through, but he is in a Red Bull, which is one of the top cars this season. It's going to be difficult. Like I said, also, I'm struggling a lot more on the mediums. You can see they're having to really chop at the wheel versus the soft compounded tyre, despite the tyre wear maybe probably being, numerically a little bit less. So that was a little bit frustrating at the end. But it's going to be then Leclerc matching his real-life counterpart. He's going to win this Bahrain Grand Prix in our first race for the 2022 mod career mode. Verstappen gets the second place he would have wanted to get in real life, and then Carlos Sainz in third place. And if Sergio Perez, we finish up in P5 though for the Viking, Kevin Magnussen. We are back in Formula 1 with K-Mag, and that's a decent haul of points ahead of Bottas. Hamilton beaten by myself and Valtteri Bottas there. I think the two Alpines also scored points in the end of it, along with, I think, a cheeky Sebastian Vettel 1 point there. But what a first outing, what a first race for this mod career mode.
Talk to me, Ant. What was it that set them apart from the competition today?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. and that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
So it's glory for Ferrari, not exactly the exact same as real life, but it's still a 1-3 for them. They'll be pretty damn happy. And Verstappen in second place, like I said, getting that hypothetical second he probably should have got IRL. But what a start for us then. P5 for the team. Schumacher, I think he got held up in traffic, and behind Russell he struggled, so I think he can score some definite points in the next few races. But obviously the driver's standings, the exact same as the race result, but the constructors, early doors, we've done really well for Haas there, up in P3 ahead of Alfa Romeo, who are also ahead of Mercedes. Alpine with a strong start ahead of Aston Martin, and then AlphaTauri, they'll be disappointed. They should have done definitely better. And then Williams and McLaren down the bottom, the new order in 2022. But guys, if you have enjoyed this very first episode of the F1 2022 mod career mode with Haas and Kevin Magnussen, be sure to smash that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below, and if you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.